everyone, thanks for joining me today for our teen craft program. Stacey, the teen services librarian at the Naper Boulevard Library, and our craft for today is a mermaid tail macrame keychain like this. This is my sample to show you what we're going to be creating today. Macrame is using a series of knots in ropes and cords to create fun patterns, and I think you are going to really enjoy making this one today. So what we're going to need are just a few simple supplies here. Let's put this to the side. We are going to need a ruler, like so, and we're going to need some macrame cord. Now the cord I have here comes on these long tubes here. This is 3mm macrame cord in a seafoam green, but you can use whatever kind and color you want. And then we're going to need a keychain like so. I like these ones that have the D-ring because it will lay nice and flat. We're going to need our handy dandy scissors, snip, and then besides this, we're going to either need some masking tape or painter's tape, or I can show you how you can use a clipboard for that later on, and then either a pencil or a paperclip, which will come at the very end and seems sort of strange, but you'll see what we're going to use it for. So let's get started with our craft. Okay, so let's clean up our workspace here. We'll put the sample to the side, and we're just going to need our keychain and our scissors, our macrame cord, and our ruler for this one. And once again, this is what our keychain looks like with the D-ring. You can also use the circular one. I just really like the ones with the flat sides for macrame. And then our cord, you can get this in a bunch of different colors. This is the 3mm size, but whatever size you'd like, that will work. And these are the two cool colors you would get in our craft kit. So to start with, we are going to cut 3 lengths that are 48 inches long, and that's going to be the main part of our mermaid tail here. So I'm going to measure out 24 and then fold this in half and cut it to get our first piece. And of course, I planned ahead and I already have the other 2 pieces cut ahead of time. So here off to the side are 1, 2, and 3 pieces here. Save some time watching me measure and cut. So we have these 3 pieces, and that's going to be the base of our mermaid tail keychain. And then we're going to cut 1 more piece that is going to be 20 inches long. So here I'm going to measure it to the 10, fold it in half, and snip. And then we are done with our cord, and we're going to set this 10-inch piece aside for later so that we don't accidentally get mixed up. And we can move the rest of this aside. We're not going to need the ruler anymore. We're just going to use our keychain, our cord, and our painter's tape. So to start with here, let's put the tape to the side. We'll use that in just a little bit. We are going to attach our cords to our keychain here. And the way we're going to do that is something called a lark's head knot, which is a really simple knot you've done a million times and didn't know it had a fancy macrame name for it. So no worries if I'm throwing out some strange terminology here. So we're going to meet up the ends of our cord like so, and you're going to take this loop and put it through the keychain ring like so, and then you're going to just pull it through the loop here to create this knot here. You've done this probably a million times, so it's got a fancy name, but I think you know how to do it. So we're going to attach all 3 of those the same way. Make sure that the knot head is facing the same way. So if you have to redo it once or twice because you pulled it through the wrong way, no worries. We just want to make sure that the bumpy part of the knot is facing us. So let's do it like this. I'm going to go like so and pull it through. And our second knot head right there. And we're going to do the same thing for our last one. And like I said, if you find that you've done it backwards, just pull it out, start over again. And like, I'm gonna forget which way I was supposed to do it, like that. Nope. Like, no, I gotta do it the other way. So there is our 3 lark's head knots here, and this is the start of our keychain. So you're just going to make sure you pull them tight like so, and we are ready to attach our macrame to our workspace. Now you can use painter's tape. I'm just going to tape it to the table here for easy, but one thing you can do is if you've ever done this with friendship bracelets, you can use a clipboard and you just kind of clip this into here, and as you're working you can kind of hold it to keep it from moving. A lot of people really like to do macrame this way, and it is an option for you, but I like the light colored background for you to all see this, so I'm just going to tape it down with my painter's tape here. And it's probably going to come loose at least once or twice while I'm doing this, so no worries. And in fact, let me make sure to get it on camera. There you go, Stace, there you go. And we're just going to tape it down here on the ring and get it nice and secure so that we can get started with our knot tying. And we are going to learn the double half hitch knot for this craft. So I don't know if y'all been watching WandaVision like I have, but my favorite character, Agnes, would say, this macrame is not going to hitch itself, so let's get started. So we are going to organize our strings like this. I want you to sort of separate them so that they are in order like this, and this will make it easier when we start tying. So to start with, I want you to take the second and third string, and we're just going to tie a regular old knot. Just tie it together all the way up to the top, pull it tight, and do that twice, like so. And this is just because this is how we're going to start getting that cool V shape that you've seen in the keychain. So then I want you to skip over to the other side here, and you're going to take those two like so, and same thing, we're going to make another little knot twice like so. And pull it tight all the way to the top. And then lay it out thusly. You can see how we're kind of getting this little triangle shape here. And what we're going to do is then take these two center ones in the middle here, you can see like that, and do the same thing. So I'm going to take these two center ones, and I'm just going to tie a really simple knot twice with them, so that way we continue this V shape, and that'll help our diagonal half hitch kind of stay in shape as we're going. So let's pull that tight up there, and these are really just sort of our base to work from, like so. And you can see how we have this little triangle we've created, and now we can get started with our double half hitch diagonal knots. So I want you to organize your cords, like this. That way this will make it easier as we go through and you're learning the steps to make sure we keep everything on this nice diagonal. So what we're going to do is this first cord on the far left, we're going to hold that in our dominant hand, which is me and my right hand. It is not moving out of that hand. And we're going to use the other strings to tie around and create this half hitch knot. So what you kind of do is I'm going to take this second cord and lay it over in kind of like a 4 shape. Do you see how I've kind of created a 4 here, like so, over the top, and then pull that cord through. And holding on to that second cord, you're just going to pull that knot all the way to the top like so. And that is 1 half hitch knot. And we're going to do that again with the same one. Pull it up. And that is how you create a double half hitch knot. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing with this next cord. I'll call it cord number 3. Still holding that first one. That hasn't moved from my hand in theory. Create that 4. Pull that up, nice and tight. That's 1 half hitch knot. 4 through the loop, pull it up, second half hitch knot. And now I'm going to lay these cords out like so. And we're going to leave those here, leave that one there, and move to our right hand side here. You can see I've kind of created this diagonal here, which gives that kind of fish scale shape that we're looking for. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this far right one. I'm going to hold it in my dominant hand here. And I'm going to create a backwards 4 now. Same thing. pull it over the top and through, and pull it all the way. So you can see how I'm creating that 4 shape kind of backwards and pulling it up twice, double half hitch knot. That goes to the side. Pull the same way in our 4 shape, like so. And do that twice. And now you have your first row of your diagonals. Now these middle ones, super easy. Tie just a plain old knot like so. Pull it up nice and tight. And you're going to do that twice. And wherever those cords fall, that's where we're going to let them live for our next round. But that was our first row of our double half hitch knots. And you can see we've already got that cool shape because of the way we started. And we're just going to keep on doing that exact knot all the way down. So you're going to watch me one more time here, and I'm going to do the next row. Take that first one, hold it. That's the one we're going to be tying on. Make that 4 shape like so. Pull it through all the way up like that. That's 1 half hitch. And pull that one up. Double half hitch. You can see, do the same thing, holding that first one, not going to do anything with it. That's sort of our anchor rope. We're going to make that 4 through, hold on to that, pull it up nice and tight. You want it nice and tight, and that's how we'll get that really cool shape. And do it twice. And if you find that you messed up or you didn't hold anything the right way, the best part is just undo the knot and start over. So it's really nice. These knots aren't permanent. Even if you pull them really tight, you can just go back. And so now I'll do the same thing on the right hand side. I'm going to hold this one, create sort of my backwards 4 across the top and through, pull up my first half hitch. Hopefully now you get my WandaVision joke about how they're not going to hitch themselves. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. I love that show. So very 70s was macrame. My mom had a bunch of macrame pot holder, like that used to hang from the ceiling with pots in it. She would love that I am now doing macrame for everyone. So all these crafts will come back into style at one point. So, and there we go. We're going to get our second half hitch. And now you see how laying them out has helped me keep track of where all of my cords are. And now I'll just do a regular old shoelace kind of tying knot there. It's probably got a fancy macrame name that I don't know, but I'm just going to call this a normal knot. Pull it in. And there we go, like so. And now we've done 2 rows here. Our first little triangle doesn't really count, but we've done 2 rows here, and I'm going to undo this and kind of show you in the closer to the camera. You can see how we've created that sort of cool fishtail kind of herringbone shape with our knots. And we are going to tape this down, and we are going to keep doing this same exact pattern for the length of our keychain. And I like to do it 6 times, might do it 7 depending on how tight my knots are, and I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to keep watching me do the same thing over and over. But if you still need some help following along, go back to the beginning of the video and watch that first part again. And just take your time. There's no rush in this craft. The knots are going to be fine, and you're going to do a great job. And like I said, if you mess up, it's okay. You can just go back and start over. And actually, as I'm doing this one here, I didn't like that. I'm gonna go back and start over. Something was not right here, I think, in the way I was holding it in that row. So it's totally okay to start one of your half row diagonals. Just undo it like I do here and start again. So it's okay. So you might get confused while you're doing this, or pull it the wrong way, or forget which one you should be holding and which one you should be tying. Totally cool. So we're just going to do this. And like I said, I'm going to do 6 rows and then see how we are looking here. My sample has 6 rows, but you have plenty of cord to go for a few more, or if your knots aren't as tight, so don't worry, you will not run out. I've given you plenty here with the instructions, and like I said, if you did pick up our craft kit, you had all this in here pre-cut and ready to go. And no worries, this is sort of a craft that you get into like a Zen mode for. So I now have all of my rows here. You can see how I have this cool diagonal shape, and I did actually decide to do 7 rows. It just kind of looked a little nicer. I would pull my knots really tight on this one. So now that we have all of our rows, we are going to do our finishing touches on our keychain. So we're gonna double check and make sure all your knots are pulled nice and tight before we get to the final wrapping. And then I want you to gather all of your cords together, and we're going to take that 20-inch cord that we cut, that we set to the side, and we are going to do this cool wrapping technique. So I want you to first leave a little end hanging out and kind of loop it down like so, and pinch it in between where you have all of the rest of your cords pinched. And now I'm going to wrap it once and pull it around, and then I'm going to wrap it underneath that first wrapping cord like so, and I'm going to wrap it about 4 times. If you have extra, you can do 5, so that they lay right underneath each other like so. And then I'm going to take this longer end here, and I'm going to pull it through that loop that I left here at the bottom, like so. And holding that, I'm going to pull up this top, and see how I'm kind of creating that knot, pulling it nice and tight and kind of pulling this knot inside of the wrapping we did. And that conceals it and keeps all of our ends nice and tight. I'm just kind of pull it like this and make sure that it looks nice and secure. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut off these ends. So I'm going to take my scissors and get it right up to the edge of that wrapping and snip that off like that. And do the same thing for the bottom one, like so. And then don't need that, throw that away. And then I'm just going to kind of gently push a little of the ends up inside of that cord. And you see we have finished it, and you do not even see any of the knots. So it's a pretty neat way to finish this. Go back and watch me do it again if you were a little confused as to how we do it. But once I got the hang of it, I was like, this is an amazing knot. So then I'm just going to pull on the ends of my cords here and sort of make sure that everything is nice and tight and pulled up to the edge here, like so. And we have secured all of our cords and our knot. So let me take this here so you can see what our finished little ends look like. Looks really nice, and you can't see the beginning or the end of that. So we're just gonna sort of pull it and adjust it so everything is nice and centered here. And I'm going to tape this down once again for our very last step. We are going to trim the ends of our cord here, and I'm going to just eyeball it, and I think that is a good end there. Snip it off, don't need that, to the side. And we are just about finished with our keychain. Our very last step is what we're going to use either that pencil or the paper clip for. And if you have like one of those slicker brushes you might use for pets, that's what a lot of people use to finish these off. But I find that just using one of these and pulling it through like this, we're going to kind of brush out the cords here. So I'm putting either the pencil or the paperclip end in the middle of the cord and kind of pulling it apart. And you get this kind of braided look here. But I'm just going to basically pull apart all of those cords. So you should have all those 6 macrame cords there, and kind of brush them out all the way up to this knot here, like so. And by doing this, this is how we kind of get this neat texture that's compared to the rest of the fishtail knot here. So I'm just gonna pull them out, use your fingers. Like I said, if you have those call them slicker brushes that you might use like on your pets that have like all those little wiry like little bits hitting out. My cat hates that brush. He runs away with it to hide it from me. But that works really well here too. But if you don't have one, like I didn't bring mine in today, and so we're just gonna go ahead and use any sort of utensil to kind of brush out the ends here. And this is just a fun little finishing touch. You don't have to do it, but I think it looks really cool in the end once we have everything pulled and brushed out here. So let's just do a few more here and make sure everything's kind of untangled and brushed and organized here, like so. And once we have that all nice, we are going to, yeah, there we go. Nice and pretty. Oops. So I told you it was going to come undone a few times while I was taping and untaping, so clipboard might have been better. We'll never know. So now that we have everything brushed out, we're going to take our scissors and we are going to cut in the V shape to create our mermaid tail, our fish tail here. So I'm just going to gently cut as much as my dull scissors will allow here and create a V shape sort of mountain here in our fish tail. Get all that stuff out of there. And once again, this doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see, get all the little bits out, and I have a fish tail. And if you'd like, you can even like use some hairspray or some gel and kind of like put that on there and keep it all so it stays together, but I kind of just like the way it looks like this, and voila! You can see here is our mermaid tail macrame keychain in our super cool colors. So I hope everyone enjoyed this craft and that this video made sense for your knot hitching needs. And we have lots of really great books here at the library, so if you enjoyed this and want to learn more, these are just some I have laying around here at Naper Boulevard, but feel free to check some out, and I hope to see everyone next time for our next craft video. So thanks everyone!